Welcome back, Raider Nation. It's Joseph here for Zenny62. So, Raider Nation, it has become official. Mark Davis has officially announced the hiring of Josh McDaniels as head coach and David Ziegler as the new general manager for the 2022 Las Vegas Raiders. Now, quickly, I'm going to tell you a few thoughts that I had. The one thing that I thought coming into this was its attempt to create this huge grand fanfare of the introduction. And one of the things that I thought initially was, okay, let's move forward with it. And Mark Davis said something that was pretty curious to me. And that when he introduced both Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels, he introduced them as individuals from John Carroll University. When we know that they come from the New England Patriots. Not unless you're living under a rock, you know exactly who these people are. And so to not bring that up, and not to mention that they are New England Patriot coaches as well as personnel, it leads me to believe that he knew that there is going to be backlash with this firing. Now, he also went on to say, which I found interesting throughout this press conference, that he did a thorough research, was interested in Josh McDaniels for some time now, and essentially my interpretation was that he already had made up his mind who he wanted in the roles of coach / general manager. And the thought I had was, you had a 3-hour dinner with Josh McDaniels, but you preceded that by saying that you interviewed Rich Bisaccia for 5 hours. No dinner, and it was quote unquote a thorough research process, meaning that they probably really drilled into Rich Bisaccia for 5 hours, but yet you had a 3-hour dinner. And after that dinner, you decided essentially to hire Josh McDaniels the following day. And I'm sure that same grilling process may not have occurred. And the other thing that we've heard for quite a while during this whole time is that Mark Davis had a team with him. A team of well-established NFL personnel and talent evaluators. When it turns out that there was essentially only 3 people. And even to cut it even shorter than that, essentially just 2. Because the other 2 people in that group of 4 were Mark Davis and Dan Ventrelli, who is the interim president of the team that took over for Mark Verdane once Mark Verdane decided to resign. Now, I don't know if Dan Ventrelli or Mark Davis was ever a NFL talent evaluator on the coaching or on the personnel side. But they did also bring in Tom Delaney and John Herrick. Now, that seems like not necessarily a team or a group of advisors, but a couple of guys that you knew that said, hey, come on, let's try to do this. So that, in my opinion, was a little problematic. I would have liked to seen a more, from at least from the outside perspective, a more thorough, in-depth research process and a talent evaluation. The other thing taken from this press conference was when you had, I think it was Vinny Bonsignore asking Dave Ziegler about Derek Carr and his desire to end his career as a Raider, and whether or not they have any plans for Derek Carr to do either a contract extension or keep him on the team. And basically Dave Ziegler danced around that question and didn't really answer it. True to any well-established personnel director, he danced around the questions, said a lot of things, but saying a lot of nothing. One thing that I thought interesting enough was that Mark Davis pointed out that when he first initially met officially Josh Daniels in the hallway of the training facilities, that he admitted that it was a fumble. Now, for those of you, again, who are living under a rock, that was the infamous tuck rule game that took away the sack from Charles Woodson and the fumble, I should say, that would have given us not only the win of the game to move on to Super Bowl, but that inventing a tuck rule that swayed the NFL to move towards wanting the Patriots to move on to the Super Bowl. And to have Josh McDaniels admit that it was a fumble does very little to the Raider Nation. But at the same time, it validates that there is a conspiracy against the Raiders because they knew very well it was a fumble. Now, whether or not he's saying that because he has no choice because he's a Raider now, I don't know. But to give him some credit, one thing that I would say is that it was refreshing to see and have someone admit to know when they were wrong. Because he also mentioned that he wasn't ready to be a head coach when he was a coach for the Denver Broncos, and how he has learned and grown from that experience. So we have that on our side. And so lastly, my opinion is we don't have a choice but to give this a shot. We don't have because we can protest up and down and complain all we want. That's not going to change what has already occurred. We can probably voice our opinions loudly and somehow try to get it to Mark Davis to say, what were you thinking and why didn't we go a different direction? And that's basically what we can do. But moving forward, God, I mean, if you're a fan of Raider Nation and you want this to succeed, we hope that everything starts lining up the way we always felt it should be. And basically, let me know what your thoughts and opinions are, and whether or not you think this was a good hire. And watching this press conference, did you come out of it thinking better than maybe you were reluctant to think moving forward about this whole process of hiring Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler? Keep it here on Zenny62, and don't forget to like and subscribe.